It's the least I could do. I'm Robert O'Leary, and I started with Parish Players in September of 2012. I hobbled in here, and I probably shouldn't tell this story because people then will know about it. I hobbled in here with a plastic cast boot on my left leg because I had broken my left ankle about 5 weeks earlier. Not quite 5 weeks earlier. Just walking. Wish it had been more manly pursuit that I had rolled my ankle. But I did. I'd just taken a hike on a hill. And they had Blythe Spirit audition. And I had the cast on, but I knew it was coming off in a week or so. And I had done Noel Coward in high school. In fact, in a competition play that did quite well for my high school. And so I really wanted to do any Noel Coward that I could do. And so I hobbled in with a cast on my leg, and Janet Eller auditioned me. And at the end of the audition, she said, "How soon will that come off?" And I said, "Well, in a week it should be coming off, and then I should be full motility in about a month." And she said, "Oh, good. Would you be interested in doing Charles Condamine, the lead of the play?" And I said, "Well, yes, that would be lovely," forgetting that I hadn't done any large part as large as that ever, and that Charles Condamine required maybe memorizing about 50 pages of dialogue, not just your own, because you feed the other people lines and you have to get exactly the word or they won't be able to say that word in their line. And so I agreed to this, and she agreed to it, and next thing I knew, I was at Parish Players doing what was a very professional show, very well done. Barbara Payson made a great set for us, and I was with some of my favorite actors now, Jeannie Hines and Michelle Carlson and Elaine Gillespie and Michael Bachman. These people, and Sandra Dell, these people and I all made this. I thought it was a terrific show. I thought we did a great job. There's a video somewhere. I try not to watch it too often. But it was just so much fun to do, and it was the first serious acting I had done in decades. I had done some simulated patient work. I had done a reading for Harper Lee's, To Kill a Mockingbird. Had a 50th anniversary. We had a Vermont Reads. I did a couple of readings of that. But I didn't get to play the father. I played his brother, and I was a utility player in that. I played the sheriff and the brother, not the lead of it. But so I had done some less than heavy lifting as an actor, but nothing like being on stage here at the Parish. This was quite a step up for me as an actor, and it was just a great venue. You have 100 people, and they're right there, very close. You can feel their energy as an actor, and that's the key to theater for me. With a movie or a video, or a television show, you can watch them anytime. They're gonna be there at your Netflix anytime you want to see them. You're going to see the same show that everybody else saw. So when you say, that moment when he did this, everybody else has seen that. But when you come to live theater, you could be seeing the same show as someone a different night, and yet it's a different show. The energy of the audience is a part of the show. And so with live theater, as an audience member, you get to be a part of the show, the energy of the show. And it really makes a difference. As an actor who's done, one particular play for 8 or 10 show stretch, as a lighting guy for doing it for an 8 or 10 show stretch, as somebody who's just seen shows after shows of the same particular play, I've seen how they evolve, how one night has this mystical energy, and another night will have a very straightforward delivery, and another night will be just the most unique mess up you've ever seen. And there you are. You were in the audience when he did that thing. Spalding Gray told a great story about when he was doing Our Town, and he was the stage manager in Our Town. And one night, they were doing the graveyard scene where they're all sitting in chairs on the side, and there's a boy of about 12 in the cast who plays the brother who died young. And for whatever reason, this boy just barfed all over the person in front of him. And the audience just went silent, except for one boy of about 14 in the back of the first mezzanine there, who knew what he saw, and he was laughing. That's how he tells it. And there's something now, the people who were in that audience had that unique experience that nobody else, you saw it on American Playhouse. That's not the one you saw on American Playhouse. They filmed a different one, and they put that one on. But that was, even when it's a mess up, even when it's a horrible failure, even when my beard came off, just because I was sweating too much, even that just made that theater experience so much more than any television show you could see, any movie you're gonna go to, because you were in the audience, when I took the mustache off, and in the back of the audience, there's my friend Lane saying, "Good for him." That is a moment that we shared in that audience only. The rest of the run went very differently. That night, I took it off, stuffed it in my pocket. And in 2012, I had done, and I believe it was in 2010, it might have been before, whatever the 50th anniversary of the To Kill a Mockingbird was, that was the year I did the stage reading, and that was the first before an audience acting I had done in a long time. Before that even, in fact, how I heard about that, I think, was when I was a simulated patient, which was improv work, and it's such a small audience. It's the instructor, the student, and me, and that's the whole audience for this improv work I did. And some of it was some of my best work as an actor, and yet nobody ever got to see it. So I was sort of still itching to get back into acting. I was a stay-at-home dad. I had done waiting jobs, or I also had been a substitute teacher. Nothing that lasted very long, and I couldn't take any job that lasted long. I lost a waiting job because we were going on vacation in 2 weeks, and the boss was like, well, I need you to be here. And I was like, well, I'm giving you 2 weeks that I'm gonna not be here that week, and I can't do anything else about that because my wife makes the money, and then we go on vacation when she can go on vacation, and we plan it months in advance. That's how it works. So I have to have a job that I can quit. And so when I came to a point where my youngest, Sophia, was, so we're talking almost 4.5 years ago, she's 8, she's in first grade, it wouldn't be a desperate situation for me to not be home at night when I'm rehearsing. So I started looking for what I really wanted to do, and I wanted to act, and I didn't want to take jobs that I'm working at something that's meaningless to me. I can do it for hours and then get paid. The money is the only meaning in it, and I did want to act. I always wanted to act. I've been an actor, since pretty young, and done it in various ways: film, stage, commercials, here and there. Nothing serious. Never made much money on it, but I thought, if I'm gonna spend my time, this midlife time that I have, this crisis, is going to be spent at stuff that interests me, that entertains me, that makes me feel like it's worth my time. And so I decided not to just go for a job. I decided to take an adventure instead, and that was acting. And so it's something I always wanted to do, something I wanted to pursue in other ways too. I'm debating, I have a script that I want to maybe develop into something, and I need to meet actors. So that's sort of what I was thinking a few years ago, and I ended up coming here as the first serious job I got. But I had a little thing at a nearby theater as well that I did before here. But this was a big leap to come in here and to do acting here. Well, I've worked in a lot of theaters now in Upper Valley. 4 years ago, you'd be surprised how many plays you can do in that time. And not just the Upper Valley. I've worked at Unadilla Theater up in Marshfield. It's actually like on the border of East Calais and Marshfield and Cabot. It's got there's 3 towns right there. So the Unadilla is where I've worked. I've worked at Goddard. I did something for Shakespeare in the Hills. I worked at Heartland Community Arts, a couple of plays. Old Church Theater in Bradford, I've done quite a few things. I was on the board there before I was on the board here. In fact, the way I ended up on the board here was Paul Hunt, who was on the board there and was once here, wanted to have a board member on both boards, and Sheila Kaplow had just finished her term, so she couldn't come back to the board here, and she's also on that board. And so he suggested I do it, and so I went ahead and offered to be on the board. And I'm drawn to this theater in particular because, well, it's close to my home, doesn't hurt, but also because they're doing the type of theater I'm looking to do. We're doing a mixture of what's classic and what's new. And we have also, I think, a theater community here that's very strong, very tight community of actors and crew that just, share a passion for putting up something that is going to be professional and not just community theater, but that, that next step up from your regular community theater, something that you can trust is going to entertain you. It's not going to be boring. It's not going to be something tragically inept. It's going to be something that's very crisp and well done and well rehearsed, and people who are interested in giving their best show. And I've done that in other theaters, but this one, I've really developed a group of friends and a community that I'm very comfortable in working with. I'd love to be here for the next 50 years of this theater. And maybe by then I'll be old enough to play Lear. But I think that this building, I love the way this building is, and I don't think it's going to change too much. But what I'm hoping is we do have that shop where the next show can be building a set while this show's set is already constructed. And that's really important in terms of rehearsal time. It's important in terms of, being able to overlap plays well. You could also even conceivably box a play up and do a special show and then bring the play back out if you have the space like that. I'll tell you what I know from producing and also volunteering to help out building sets. We have to carry all of our stuff from the attic all the way down the attic stairs, then into the library, down the library stairs, then down the stairs from the dressing room around that terrible corner and bring it in here. Either that way, or if it's too big for that, then we have to bring it out the back door and come around and go down low and then pick it back up these stairs. This is insane. It's way too much lifting for an actor. I'm sorry. And we are all volunteers, so it's a lot of work for volunteers to have to carry everything from the attic down to the theater or back up at the end of the play. And we did carry so much stuff back up at the end of the plays. And it'd be nice to have a better space to store all that stuff right out back. That would be a great, right off of where the old outhouse used to be, right here. I'd love to get that. Love to get some space like that. Theater. I don't think people realize what they're missing out when they don't go to their local theaters. They're, as I said, you're gonna see that episode of Game of Thrones again and again, as many times as you want. You're gonna see, Mad Men. All right. You don't see it the night that it comes out. You can catch it in the morning, right after. But if you have a local production of a play, maybe even that you've never heard of, you're missing a chance to really connect not just with that theater, with the community that's coming to that theater, that chance to see something that nobody else outside of that room is going to see. The next night they're going to do the same play, but it's not going to be the same play. And you don't get that in any other venue than live performance. And people are missing out. You can spend your money on things, or you can spend your money on experiences. And honestly, the things break and get old. The experiences stay in your mind. They fuel you all the way after you've done them. You'll think of them again and again, and you'll share them with the people that you shared them with. That's what live performance gives you. And I can't emphasize that enough. People really don't value that like they should.